You're listening to the Spooky Darlings, where three sisters share all kinds of fascinating or spooky or scary stories, just whatever interests us. My name is Emily.
I'm Nettie.
I'm Haley.
So today, Haley has a special episode for us, and I'm so excited to hear what it is. Haley, you want to take it away?
I will take it away, and it was a mystery, but then we had technical issues. So my sisters now know that this episode goes out to our friend Jackie, who last fall sent us a Facebook post about an abandoned school bus found in the woods, and 26 children and their bus driver went missing and were never found. So I knew this story when she sent that topic. And so that Facebook post was only half true. 26 children and their bus driver did go missing. So this is the Chowchilla bus kidnapping. And
it was a big surprise on take one of us trying to open this episode.
We're on take 3 now. So, my main sources are the 2023 documentary Chowchilla and the book The Chowchilla Kidnapping, Why Me by Larry Park. And so, we will now go back to 1970s Chowchilla, California. It's a rodeo town. The population at that time is about 5,000. So it's very small, very little crime. And the police dispatchers would work a night shift and not get a single call. That's how calm this area is.
Oh, give me that job.
Right? More churches than bars, a seemingly very idyllic town. And there's a summer program.
Wait, are you saying that more churches than bars is idyllic to you?
No. To some.
Gotcha.
Not to me. Or you?
I mean, I just questioned it.
Gotcha. Idyllic in the description that others had of this place. The low crime seems very idyllic to me.
Low crime, church-going folk.
So there's a summer program. They called it summer school. It didn't sound like summer school to me. Most of the kids in town went. It was going to water parks and like other fun activities. One of the kids even recalls that she just was wearing her like very favorite cute pink bathing suit when this event occurred. So summer school was so fun that the kids were even petitioning to have 2 more weeks of it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So bus driver, Ed Ray, he's a local farmer. He is loved by everybody. The kids would each give him a hug as they got off the bus at each stop. He knew all the kids' parents, and he drove the 3:30 bus. So on July 15th in 1976, the kids on the bus are having fun, bopping around. Ed is making his usual stops. And he stops at this stop sign near an orchard. So lots of trees, lots of cover. And there is a white van blocking the road. People exit the van. They look super weird. They have pantyhose over their faces, and they knock on the door of the bus. And they do have shotguns. They force their way on the bus, and they make Ed move to the back with the kids.
Oh my gosh.
Along with the rest of the children, one of the men, they take control of the bus and they start to drive, following the white van in front. When they come to a stop, they are off-road, and there is a white van and a green van. The white van backs up to the door of the bus, and they have one side of the bus exit and get into the back of the van, and this would include Ed Ray. And then the same routine for the green bus on the other side. And this would have 14-year-old Michael. Wait, I could be wrong about that detail. So during this time, the parents of the bus are beginning to notice that their kids aren't arriving home, and they start to call the police. And the small police station puts out an APB, an all points bulletin, and the police station is one office, one phone, according to the former sheriff. And they thought it would be easy to find a giant yellow bus full of kids. They probably have a flat tire, or maybe Ed Ray went off route.
Right.
Nobody's really worried at this point. What were we going to say?
I just said right.
Yeah.
Nettie, I think you might want to get closer to the microphone when you talk, because you sound really far away and echoey.
Normally I'm louder than everyone.
All right. So, this being the summer program, the bus route was also not on the normal routine. And so they have to check everywhere. Parents also begin driving around. And so 26 children and 1 adult are missing. Back on the bus, or back to the vans. Okay, so they exit the bus, get on the vans, and they drive away, abandoning the bus, which is where I think Jackie's Facebook post story ended, right?
And no one was seen again.
So the children recall driving for hours and hours, and it's hot, and it's Central California in July. And the kids are trying to console each other, especially the older kids, to the younger kids. And so with the adult, Ed Ray, the next oldest person is 14-year-old Mike. And then 11-year-old Jody. And so they are just, the kid, everybody in one van is wondering about the other van. They're praying. They start singing, "Are you happy and you know it? Clap your hands." No one would clap.
Oh.
Wait, so the kidnappers were singing that, or the kids were singing
The
that?
kids. The kids in the back of these vans, because it's the type of van that's separated from the cab.
So the kids were like, "Do you want to know how we feel? Well,
They're completely
if you're
isolated.
happy and you know it, clap your hands."
You
And
can change it. You can say if
silence.
you're sad and you know it, or scared and you know it, and then you do get to clap your hands.
It's true. I don't think they were thinking about that at the time. Too bad you weren't there.
Yeah, I guess.
That is too bad. I've always thought that.
Haley's always wishing I was in certain kidnap situations.
Just because I was plagued with kidnap nightmares growing up, because mom was always worried I was going to be kidnapped.
You were pretty kidnappable.
So 14-year-old Mike is in one van, and the kids look to him for answers. They're asking him all sorts of questions. His name is Mike Marshall. And will we see our parents? He recalls just saying, "Yep, you're going to see him." And then he said he thought to himself, maybe not in this lifetime.
Oh, no.
In the other van, the kids recall Ed staying very quiet. And it would come out later that he just was very worried about irritating the kidnappers or causing them to cause any harm to any of the children. So during all of this, the sheriff had a sergeant who had a friend with an airplane. His name is Dan Gudgel, and he gets his fellow pilot, Dan Lawrence, and they begin to search for the bus from the air. Dan Lawrence is the one who finds the bus, and it was in a heavily treed area. They kept on calling it a slough of trees, and it would have been very difficult to find the bus from the ground. Even in the film footage, I had a hard time seeing the bus. And so they find the bus, it's empty, which is their worst case scenario.
Oh my gosh.
And so the sheriff calls the governor's office, Jerry Brown, and he asks for all the help he can get. He asked for, quote, every state agency with cars and radios in his office. And the governor says yes. And so they begin to flood Chowchilla with help. And they set up roadblocks, and they are doing everything they can to find these children, which I know in like other cases with police, like operations, sometimes they really close down and they're like, no, we've got it. They don't want help. But this sheriff immediately was just like, send everyone that you can. Eventually, they even send in the National Guard.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
Wait, was Reagan the governor?
It was Jerry Brown who he called
Oh, Jerry Brown.
during this 1976.
Was he an actor? I'm just kidding.
I don't know about Jerry. So back to the van. They are driving for hours when they finally come to a stop. And then from inside the vans, they just begin to hear sawing and hammering. And all they can do is wait. And suddenly the door flies open and they remove Ed Ray and close the door.
Oh, that's so scary for those kids.
And then they start removing the kids one by one. One of the survivors remembers scooting as far away from the doors as possible. She was terrified to find out what was on the other side. A lot of them described thinking they're being stabbed, each of them, as they get out of the van. Just that mystery is so scared. And in Mike's van, the last he and 4-year-old Monica are the last ones left when the doors open again, and Mike has to decide if it's him or Monica, and he chooses himself. But that leaves Monica in the van alone, and she's 4.
Poor little thing.
So the abductors had built a room, and the back of the vans had blocked anything outside of it. And so in a little pit was a hole down into another space with no windows or anything, an enclosed room. And as they would go into the space, they had to climb down a ladder. The abductors would get the kid's name and age, and they wrote that on a piece of fast food wrapper. And some of these kids are only in their bathing suits. It's just so scary. And so one by one, all 26 children and Ed Ray are in this underground bunker.
Wow. Was there any furniture in there? Or was it just like an empty
The
room?
bunker had several mattresses, a table with food supplies, and then a block with a hole in the top for a toilet.
Ew.
So a table with water, cereal, peanut butter, bread, and in their description, very public seats with holes in them.
Ew.
So once the last child, 4-year-old Monica, was let down into the hole, they are locked in with a slab of like metal on top, and then they just hear 2 heavy thunks go on top of there. And then they hear themselves being buried alive.
That is so scary.
Mm-hmm. And during this time, reporters are beginning to flood Chowchilla. The news was everywhere. It was national coverage. Even interviewing the last child who got off the bus just before the kidnapping. She's she's the cutest thing. She's just playing on a swing set. She has crooked bangs.
Aww.
And she's
just like you did as a kid. Just you cut your own bangs.
Yeah, got a hold of those scissors. Never let them go. And she's just like, I don't know. She's like, it's pretty scary. But she's like 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So people are starting to theorize about alien abduction, Satanists, the Zodiac killer, even the son of Sam, blaming cults like the Moonies. And the lines to make reports were flooded. Like, you could barely get a call through.
Oh, man.
And so at this point, the FBI becomes involved, sent Agent Robert Gebhardt. And while these children are being looked for, they're in this bunker underground. And so there is a ventilation system giving the children fresh air so they don't suffocate, but it wasn't enough. And so it was still hard to breathe down there, even with it working. And Mike and Ed, they start to like try and look for a way out, maybe any type of weakness in this structure, and everything that they tried, it wouldn't budge. And so they start to focus on this piece of metal that covered the hole that they all came down through, and it's not budging. And then the ventilation fans stop.
No.
And the kids start to panic. Ed helps to keep the kids calm. He puts them all down to take a nap. Some of the kids reported that they started to remember just very calm events that they had. Like one kid was like, yeah, I just like laid down and closed my eyes and suddenly I was at the beach with my family.
Oh.
And camping trips. Other kids reported kind of hallucinations. One child said that they went to sleep and traveled through the hole in the structure up through the dirt and said that she saw the kidnappers sleeping on beds above them.
Oh my gosh.
And
is that true? Were they really sleeping on beds? Oh,
no, they weren't.
She didn't astral project. That would have been really cool if
That
she
would-
had.
I thought that for a second. I was like, is this astral projection? And then no, it's not. So after many hours of this torture, the roof begins to collapse and the ventilation system is stopped and the roof dents in and dirt begins to fill their room. And the beam that was holding up the structure also begins to fall in. And the time that they have to survive begins to dwindle. And when anyone moved too much, more sand and dirt would begin to fill the room. And Ed was fearful that if they tried to escape that the kidnappers would hurt them, and he kind of froze.
Oh my gosh.
And during all of this time, the search for the children is continuing, and this is where they're getting ready to call in the National Guard. And so while the kids are begging Ed to try and get them out, Mike decides that if they were going to die, they were going to die trying to get out. And so he gets the kids to help him stack up the mattresses under the hole, and Mike begins to push on the steel plate. And this finally pushes Ed to action, where he joins Mike, and they are able to get a crack open on this plate. And then Mike weaves his thin arm through that crack, and he's able to move these two large bus batteries, which weigh 150 pounds each.
Holy
He doesn't
cow.
even weigh that much. He's able to move these off of the steel plate, and they can finally lift that up. And above them is a 3 foot by 3 foot little like cube room that that was buried with them. And the kidnappers wanted to keep that clear to have a clearer path to set them free. Well, I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So they're in this 3 foot by 3 foot cube, and Mike and another kiddo who can fit in this room, they begin to look for any weakness in this cube structure. And
It's like so interesting because when I've heard this story before, but in my memory they were buried in the bus. That's like the memory I have.
I had that memory too.
So I wonder if I read some just like snippet or something like that they backed it into like a bit and then buried them in the bus.
I remember hearing that too. And then, yeah, the documentary and the book by Larry Parks, who's a survivor, they were moved into, 2 different vans and then into this underground structure that they had already built with this plan in mind.
Such a odd thing to do. Like, where should we hide them? Let's bury. Like, why would you bury them underground? Like, if the whole purpose is to kidnap for ransom, I'm assuming because they're taking the kids' names. Like, why would you choose to build a pit underground and bury it rather than just find like an abandoned barn somewhere and reinforce it?
Honestly, like, I'm not entirely sure why they decided on this course of action. But maybe once I tell you a little bit more about the kidnappers,
It'll make sense.
it'll make a little more sense. But I don't know. This also might be like room for speculation as to why they chose to do it this way. Because, I mean, it just seems so cruel.
Yeah. Extra awful.
Mike realizes at the bottom seam of this cube structure, he was able to make a small hole. And through that hole, he could start to move the earth that was on the other side of the wall. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then he's able to push it down into their bunker. And this is slow progress, but it helped everybody feel like they were moving towards freedom.
Yes, gives them hope.
And maybe even a little bit more air in there. Like, is this helping them with their
Yeah, maybe.
oxygen situation?
I don't think it's helping yet because they're still fully buried. Mike is able to finally move enough earth that he can make a crack in the ceiling and pull the plywood down. And then there's like a small avalanche of earth that falls in. And they are finally able to see sunlight. And their horrible prison that they have been held in for now 28 hours,
Oh my gosh.
they are free.
Wow.
And Ed was still so fearful that the kidnappers were up there that he has everybody be very quiet while they exit the bunker. And all around them, there's trees, a building in the distance, and then they begin to walk. And they're so scared that the kidnappers are in that building in the distance, but they are in a rock quarry.
Oh my gosh. So they were buried in rock, not just dirt.
Yeah.
That's even harder to move.
And terrifyingly, they see someone coming towards them, but this man knows who they are. He was an employee at this rock quarry, and he had seen them on the news, and he is basically speechless.
Oh my gosh.
So they are able to call authorities, and authorities arrive, and they were in this rock quarry that is 110 miles from Chowchilla.
Wow.
So their families are called. They know their kids are safe. Oh, their families are not called. That's my mistake. Families found out that their kids were safe from the news.
Oh, geez, what a relief that must have been.
Announced by FBI agent, and the announcement says that there's no evidence of any harm to these kids. The kids were very calm.
I mean, probably just nightmares forever, but...
Just forever. The kids are calm. They're a little dirty from being kept underground, and they photograph each child. And before the kids are taken home, they get their statements about what happened. And to get these statements, where do you think they took these children?
To the rock quarry? To the
back to the bunker? That could have only been worse than where they did take them, to a nearby prison.
Oh, jeez.
They gave the kids clean jumpsuits to wear and fed them milk and apples before they were finally delivered home.
Here, I promise you're free, but please put on this prison jumpsuit. Do they even have jumpsuits that would fit a 4-year-old?
No, and there's photos of the kids in these massive jumpsuits, and like just they're rolled up, so baggy, but and they all have that kind of they all kind of have that like shell-shocked look.
But they're fine.
But
no
they're fine.
No harm done.
Let's just take them home. No counseling at all, right? So it was quite the scene. Reporters everywhere, and even some kids are carried off the bus because they just couldn't make it. Larry Parks, he remembers. I think he was 7. He remembers being carried off the bus by a nice man who then put him in his mother's arms.
Oh.
So Mike Marshall remembers getting off the bus, and he was being questioned by some reporters, and he was telling them his story of everything that was happening, and then he's interrupted by the principal, who stops him, tells the reporters to let the boy get some rest, and Mike remembers thinking, there goes my chance to tell my story.
Oh.
And after that, the adults told the story, how Ed Ray rescued 26 children. And on top of it, the kidnappers were still out there.
Oh, they didn't even know who they were yet.
Mm-hmm. And
do they now?
They do now.
Okay.
So investigators begin combing the crime scene, and it was a mysterious hole in the ground. And then they discover the bunker. It was a 27-foot moving trailer from Palo Alto transfer.
Oh, that's why you guys probably thought it was a bus, right?
Yeah, maybe, because they were literally buried in a trailer, but with a support beam in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still concaving.
Yeah, because, I mean, it would have concaved much faster if they didn't have that support beam in there. I mean, they're putting rock on them. Like, that's so heavy.
Yeah. Not cool.
They must have had some knowledge of, like, structural soundness. I don't know.
I mean, or not.
Or maybe,
maybe
they didn't at all. They're like,
really,
they're like, listen, this is what my treehouse did when I was a kid.
Your treehouse is underground? Eddie Malou?
Called it a root tree house.
So investigators, they knew they were looking for 3 men and 2 vans. And questioning the kids, some of the kids helped with composite sketches, identifying the vans. They identified the vans, and there was a shotgun inside, and there was lumber matching the lumber at the quarry inside the bunker. So these were the vans. And in the other van, there were mattresses that were the same mattresses that were found inside the moving trailer at the quarry. So they also found a Cadillac that was completely spray painted flat black, even the tires and hubcaps, and a strange journal written in code was recovered from there.
Okay, so someone was like, I want to go incognito. I'm going to paint my Cadillac flat black, even the tires, so no one will notice.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay.
And all of these things were found from they were able to rent a section of this Palo Alto moving company thing or whatever, so that they like had some privacy. So Someone from the rock quarry comes forward and they're like, there was some strange activity happening here in the weeks prior to this. And he made notes of these on his patrols. He had seen men working with a bulldozer and moving vans. And the person noted he was the son of the owner of the quarry, Fred Woods.
Oh my gosh. So not the guy that that was walking down the road that found the kids.
No, he was not involved at all.
Son of the owner. Holy moly.
Holy moly is right. The Woods family was from the very affluent Bay Area. They were not even from Chowchilla, and they have a very rich background. This person, his name is Frederick Newhall Woods, and his family became rich during the gold rush. Henry Newhall amassed a fortune during that time, and even towns were named after him. And at this time, this family owned Magic Mountain.
Oh.
So,
I always wanted to go to
amusement
Magic
park.
Mountain. I never did go.
I never did go. I wonder if it's still open even.
I wonder.
that's a great question. I don't know.
I always wanted to go to Magic
So wait,
Mountain.
his family owned Magic Mountain and a rock quarry.
And several other businesses. They're very,
Affluent.
How
older money in that area.
I was about to say lots of different businesses that are unrelated. How very Jason Larvick of them. Just kidding.
I don't know. Once the investigating officers have this information, they serve a search warrant to the Woods estate. Just noting everything in the house was very expensive, even though the yard was littered with old vehicles, which was Fred's hobby, to buy an old vehicle, fix it up, and then resell it, except for he never really got to the fixing it up and reselling it part.
He just got to the harvesting and then taking them apart and just like spreading the car parts around.
A car
except that one
hoarder's
time where
paradise.
he spray painted an entire Cadillac with black flat spray paint. Mm-hmm. That's as far as he got. He's like, this is harder than I thought.
Yeah. And then
funny.
investigating Fred's living space, which was a space above the garage, it was in a basic hoarder status. Just like stacks and stacks of things everywhere. And in this area, investigators find a Jack-in-the-Box wrapper with all the kids' names and ages on it.
Oh my gosh.
They also find a ransom note.
Why Jack in the Box? So gross.
So the ransom note read, "Your bus has been kidnapped. Put $2.5 million in each of these suitcases. Use old bills. Have ready at the Oakland police station. Further instructions pending until," and then there's something crossed out, 10:05 p.m. AM crossed out. "We are," something crossed out, "Beelzebub."
Oh.
Wait, so 5 million total, like they want 2 suitcases, 2.5 in each? Mm-hmm. 5 million. Okay.
And then it continued like asterisk, rest of plans later.
Okay.
So this was a
with
rough
this-
draft, is that what you're saying? Or was this what they actually...
Something like that. With this discovery, Fred Wood's father was very cooperative. He was just like, arrest my son. He's a disappointment anyways.
Thanks, Dad. Dad, I only did this because I wanted some of your attention.
No, his father was actually attentive. Fred was just an asshole. He was like, I don't need my $100 million trust fund. I'm going to make it on my own. What can I do that's quick money?
Jeez.
So,
Wait and see. I'll have 5 million before the week is through, Dad.
yes. Fred Woods had gone into business with his friend James Schoenfeld and his little brother Richard Schoenfeld. Those little siblings always getting in on their siblings' plans. Also, Richard Schoenfeld looks like Will Forte if Will Forte was a redheaded frat boy.
Oh. Can't wait to see this.
Right? So they're all upper middle class boys. And the Schoenfelds, their father was a foot specialist, and their business was restoring old cars. By the collection on the estate of the Woods family, it wasn't going much further than a collection.
Oh, jeez.
So the discovery of the affluent kidnappers was a shock. One of the kids, when asked about why these rich boys would do this, answered, "I don't know, maybe they didn't have enough love."
Oh, that's cute.
And the parents were rightfully outraged. Fred had more money than the whole town put together. Mm-hmm. So, knowing who the abductors are, they put out an APB. Fred and James flee. Fred flew to Vancouver using a false passport and checked into a hotel, begins to write letters to friends asking for money. James drives to the border, hoping to meet Fred, was stopped, discovered he had guns. They bought him a soda, returned his guns, and sent him back into the States.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Richard Schoenfeld turned himself in, who was described as a hanger-on.
Okay. Good job, Richard.
Accompanied by his father and a lawyer. And then finally, James is arrested after trying to enter Canada again. And then Fred is arrested at the Vancouver post office by the RCMP. He was reported to have a cocky attitude.
Jeez, who did they think was going to pay the $2.5 million per suitcase, so $5 million ransom?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's dumb.
Okay. Did he think... Never mind. I'll let you tell us.
What?
I was going to say, did he think his own dad would do it?
No.
Oh.
No way. That's their money. All right. So the town of Chowchilla is enraged. They're talking about hanging them. There were measures taken to make sure the men were not harmed while taken back to Chowchilla, up to like sharpshooters on the roofs nearby to make sure like no townspeople try and attack.
Angry mob outside, rightfully so.
Well, especially their children were kidnapped. Who would not be enraged?
Tiny little swimsuit clad 4-year-olds.
Yes.
I would be livid.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Okay.
You'd be livid too.
I would be so livid. I mean, Zane's 14. Mike Marshall is 14. Like, just, they're so little. Okay.
Yeah.
And the criminals were held on $1 million bond each. None of them showed any fear. They just seemed to be very casual about this whole thing, and the town wants answers. Fred said that he didn't want to go into the family business, said he wasn't close with his father, he wasn't following through with college, and he felt like his dad was putting pressure on him.
Oh, God. Poor
Fred
guy.
earned his own money, so he didn't have to rely on his dad.
He's like, and I know the best way to earn it.
So the bright idea to make money was to write a script. They were going to call the movie Chain Reaction.
Okay, I'm sold.
This was, right? This was going to be a mixture of Patty Hearst, The French Connection, and Dirty Harry.
Oh my gosh. What is the plot?
For anyone,
Is it...
that's the only description I was given. But for anyone who doesn't know, Patty Hearst was the granddaughter of William Hearst, kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army. They demanded a prisoner swap and millions of dollars in food to be delivered for low-income Californians. The Hearst family complied. She was not released. She was picked up after a bank robbery. It was suspected that she had been brainwashed. And back to the script. Surprise, surprise, the script wasn't picked up.
I just wonder if the plot was that a bunch of children get kidnapped in a school bus.
Certainly not an affluent person. Yeah, and then like there's a car chase, and then at the end they're like, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" I don't know. You know?
Do ya?
So these entitled pricks learn that the state of California has a surplus of funds. Trying to think of how they can get their hands on this surplus, they decide to kidnap a school bus. Possibly inspired by an original Dirty Harry movie where the villain hijacks a school bus full of children. And it ends in a rock quarry.
Oh, maybe it was inspired.
18 months prior to the bus kidnapping, Fred and James researched different targets, circling all of the schools that they considered and collecting vehicles and weapons. Planning the drop-off site for the ransom, they wanted an airdrop over the Santa Cruz Mountains. Remember that matte black Cadillac?
Yes.
that was going to be used to pick up the ransom money undercover after it was dropped off.
Good
They
plan.
thought of everything, right?
No one's looking at all matte black Cadillac.
No
especially
one
with
would
the
ever.
tires painted black too.
No one would ever.
Nothing to see here.
So, the night of the kidnapping, they try to call in their ransom, but the phone lines were jammed.
Oh, they did not think about that.
So, what do? They go home and they have dinner with their parents.
Oh.
Then the news comes
Nerds.
out that the children had escaped, ruining their plans.
Ugh. And surviving. I don't think those kids would have made it through the night without air.
No, I don't think so. So after everything, everyone assumes that Ed Ray was the sole hero in saving the 26 children. The town establishes an Ed Ray Day. Ed is known as a very humble man who never sought attention. All of this was very awkward for him. And so the press just assumed that Ed was the sole hero. Mm-hmm. Ed did keep everyone together. He did keep everyone calm. He did help save the kids. So yes, Ed was a hero, but he was not the only hero. No. And several of the kids tried to tell everyone that Mike Marshall was the one that dug them out, but no one would listen.
That's so frustrating.
And Mike felt so guilty for feeling bad about all of the attention that Ed got. And the other kids didn't know how to speak up. And they all know what happened, but like speaking up to adults, especially in the 70s,
harder than it is now.
I feel like you just didn't do it. Yeah, I mean, in the 90s was weird enough.
I mean, now you just do it.
Now you just say whatever you want.
That's so true.
Right.
They'd be cruising for a bruising in a matte black Cadillac.
Oh, man. So at home, the kids are starting to have problems that they had never had before. Nightmares, sleepwalking, the sight of a van would send them into a panic. Self-esteem plummets, and hating going to sleep because of the nightmares.
Yes, poor kids.
And the parents did not know what to do. They didn't have very many resources, and the school was not offering any help. And so these kids were pretty much forgotten. One of the now adult kid at the time said, well, I guess the only solution was to give us a trip to Disneyland. And of course, the kids had a good time. And one survivor just says, this was only an intrusion into my nightmare.
Oh.
And
wait, who paid for the trip to Disneyland? Was it Walt Disney?
Maybe the state of California with those surplus of funds.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So the Chowchilla study begins. And a child psychologist wanted to know what happened to children who get frightened to death and don't die.
Ooh.
This woman, her name is Dr. Lenore C. Tur, and she saw that a psychologist was brought out, and reports were that the kids bounced back. And they said that 1 in the 26 children would have a problem. And no parent wanted to admit that their kid was having a problem and being the only child of the 1 in the 26. Mm-hmm. And so Dr. Tur, she decides to interview the kids herself. And when she got there, she discovered that all of the kids were having problems. Oh, and good. Larry Park, who's a survivor, and he was the author of my book that I read. And I forgot to add this. He remembers that when he was taken from the van to be put into the hole and they took his name and age, he had trouble with his R's. So he said his name was Larry Park. And they wrote his name the way he said it.
They wrote Larry Park?
They wrote Larry Park.
And how old was he?
I think he was 7.
7 years old?
7 years old.
Oh.
I know, that breaks my heart. This whole thing breaks my heart. Larry, if you're listening, you're so brave. Okay, so the kids were told that this is not information from Dr. Tur. This is from the other psychologist who said the kids' parents were told that if they went to their children when they were having nightmares, they were rewarding the behavior.
Oh, come on.
And if they stopped going in there and comforting their kids would stop having nightmares.
Oh, jeez.
Which is just not true. And so his sister, Andrea, who was on the bus at the same time as well, she became very withdrawn. She became so introverted, she would not hug her family anymore.
Oh, poor thing.
And
Can you
Larry said that
imagine? They would feel so like such abandonment and terror that that their parents aren't comforting them. What awful advice. Like 70s parenting, like they really
Yeah.
had bad advice coming from a lot of directions. The whole Dobson spanking
Jeez,
like
yeah, no kidding.
movement,
which-
like
yeah.
all of that. People were just guessing badly and telling everybody they were experts.
throwing spaghetti at the walls. Yeah.
Seeing if anything sticks.
And so Larry said that he tried to tell her that he loved her, and she would not acknowledge him.
Oh,
So, with all of this going on for over a year, the trial for the three criminals begins. And the defense said that except for a scrape or two, no real harm was done to the children and Ed. That it was non existent. Emotional damage was not bodily harm. And the prosecution was trying to demonstrate that emotional harm was bodily harm. And so some of the children take the stand, which I thought was so brave, facing their kidnappers in court. One of the children said that they felt like the conditions they were kept in was bodily harm, can't breathe, it's dirty, and
Right.
the toilet situation, not to mention, and just a bunch of mattresses strewn about this 27-foot trailer. Ed took the stand and he said the same thing, just trying to reiterate, like, this was harmful. There was not a definition of emotional or mental harm at the time in that medical book, the DMSR-5 or whatever it is.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I wonder when the first, like, just legally speaking, when people started awarding
Acknowledging.
or acknowledging emotional damage.
I mean, from what Dr. Tur says, this is like one of the first case studies of investigating emotional harm.
Wow.
And it wasn't until after a horrific event of a mass kidnapping of 26 kids and an adult.
I might just want to punch the kidnappers in the face.
You are going to continue to want to.
Right in the mouth. Okay.
Burp. So without a definition of emotional or mental harm at the time, they had to demonstrate how the situation was harmful. And a reporter asked Ed if he thought the kidnappers should ever be released. And he said, quote, "No, I don't. We was buried under the ground, man."
Yeah. I agree with them.
So there was 16 days of testimony. All three men were found guilty. All three, I should say, criminals were found guilty. And the judge stated that this was an ordeal of terror. Terror causes suffering. Suffering is bodily harm. So good on the judge.
Yeah.
And for the kids, finding out the kidnappers got life without parole, that helped some of them find relief. But this is America.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The kidnappers file appeals. And remember, they're all from very wealthy families. And so they can get
bad.
very good lawyers. In 1980, the sentence is reversed. And the courts agreed that mental harm is not bodily harm. And they could be out after 20 years. So they do have 20 years.
Yeah.
But this was a devastating blow for the victims. And so at this time, Mike, who was 14, so it's 1980, 4 years later, so he's like 18, 19 years old. He's beginning to drink, use drugs. He was a rodeo rider, and he just wanted to forget that the kidnapping ever happened. His life became in two sections: his life before the kidnapping and his life after the kidnapping. And not to mention that his part in the rescue was completely left out of the narrative.
Oh.
And that just was devastating to him. He never got the chance to be acknowledged as part of the rescue. And so Jody, who she was 11 at the time, and so she was like, during the whole thing, was very much a motherly figure to the younger kids. She would attend the parole hearings every 5 years.
Oh, good.
She went to every hearing, and she would testify to the emotional damage. She talked about how no one's family was the same after the kidnapping, And if it wasn't for her and the other victims going to these parole hearings, the kidnappers probably would have not even spent 10 years in jail.
Oh my gosh.
So Larry Parks, who was once escorted out of a parole hearing for how emotional he became, shouting about how much he was hurt, he said that this kidnapping completely shattered his family. His sister has completely disassociated, and his mother lost faith in his father as a protector. Like, these are the ripple effects of these 3 selfish assholes.
Yeah, probably so many. You probably couldn't even name them all.
Yeah.
Just emotional damage that then is carried on. Like, if those people grow up and have kids, they're going to take, like, that thing that happened to them and like, be maybe completely helicopter parents and not let their kids have any freedom.
Well,
which
you
can
see,
be its own form of emotional damage, you know?
You see Jody, and you see Jody's son, because he's in this documentary, and just, like, she was not able to be a fully present mother because she was so consumed with going to parole every 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That would be tough.
So Larry said that if he were ever to be okay with them getting out of jail, he would have to see them cry for the victims and cry for their families. And so going to parole hearings is on the victims. It's on the victims to tell their story about how they don't feel safe, about what this impact was on their life. And so Jody's son points out they never get any rest.
Right.
At one point in 2010, there is a public advocating for the kidnappers to be released.
What? Why? Who? Who would advocate for that?
Unfortunately, high-profile people. Because remember, their families have connections to high-profile people.
I want to know who these
William
mofos
Newsom,
are.
Gavin Newsom's father, said no one was injured. Dale Four, who assured the victims at the time that the kidnappers would never get out, allegedly he began to offer victims money to support the parole of the kidnappers. One victim flipped and gave an official statement for the kidnappers to be released.
Oh my gosh.
Never got their name. I don't want to look for their name.
Yeah.
I don't know what their circumstances were that they would accept something like that. Maybe for them it was helping them move on. So I don't know. But these were not rich people who were targeted. And Dale Four was part of the team that rescued these kids. So that just is so shocking to me. And Dale, what happened? Why did you do that? Because all but one of the victims have spoken out saying, this is hurting us.
Yeah.
Anyway, Frederick Wood's attorney said that no money was ever offered to a victim to support parole. So people say money was offered. They say they never offered money, allegedly.
I bet they offered money.
I
don't
bet.
think anyone would have flipped.
Yeah. Richard Schoenfield was released in 2012, and this spurred some of the survivors to have panic attacks again. The nightmares began again. And seeing the writing on the wall, some of the survivors began to prepare themselves. In August of 2015, James Schoenfield was released, and Jody, who was a mother figure, she took it so hard them getting out, and she blamed herself for them getting out.
Oh,
her son said that her drinking escalated to a point where she wasn't eating because she couldn't get out of bed. She wasn't processing life the way she was supposed to. And Jody Heffington died in 2021 at age 55.
Oh my gosh, that's so terrible. Mm-hmm. That is from the trauma. That's from the trauma. It's basically second-degree murder. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I would think that there's a case for that, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm not a lawyer.
I am not either, but I played one in 4th grade. No, I didn't. I played a dentist. I always forget.
Close.
You wanted to play a lawyer.
It was the Trial of Dental Health 6. It was the play we put on, and I played a dentist.
Oh, man. Yeah, that part in the documentary got me.
That's so awful.
So sad. And her son he's like, my mom was not the person that she was supposed to be because of these people.
Yeah.
So Fred Woods, one of the kidnappers, he conducted himself a little differently than Richard and James Schoenfield. They went by the book, towed the line. Fred, he conducted business while he was incarcerated, bought and sold businesses. He owns a Christmas tree farm, a gold mining operation, and a few other businesses. Like my husband, like you like to say. He even would get contraband cell phones. And in addition to this and him conducting business, he still has his trust of $100 million.
Oh, jeez.
And in 2022, he was up for parole. The survivors gathered together to come against him. They gave their statements. Jody's son showed up to give a statement.
Oh, good.
And Fred Woods was released on parole in August of 2022.
You've got to be kidding me.
Another blow to the survivors.
Wait, so Jody died in 2021. The parole hearing was just a few months later.
In 2022, August of 2022.
And then her son showed up on her behalf.
On her behalf.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, how could they let him out?
I know. So the survivors, some of them just had to release the thought that any of them had control over the criminals being released because it was like consuming. And in 1976, these children went through a harrowing experience. They had to endure 46 years of parole hearings. And the children of Chowchilla helped us understand what happens when to a child when they go through a traumatic event. Because of this event and what we know of what the children went through, therapy was available for survivors of the Columbine shooting and other awful events like that. Therapy is something that is offered. Larry Parks. Larry Parks, after Mike Marshall rescued 25 other kids and Ed Ray, said that when he was 6, he never forgot that Mike, a 14-year-old boy, taught him, "You never give up. You keep digging." That got me.
That's amazing. It's beautiful.
So in 2023, Mike and Larry see each other for the first time since 1977.
No way.
Yep.
So Larry's been just like secretly
admiring him
and just like so grateful all this time, and like knowing that honestly his survival is due to this 14-year-old kid for years.
Yes. So Mike said that meeting was very healing and that he didn't realize that he had needed that acknowledgement for so long. And that is the story of the 1976 Chowchilla bus kidnapping.
Holy cow.
What do you think, sisters?
I mean, it's just it's such a crazy story, and it's so interesting and sad to see how much like a traumatic event can shape and change people's lives. And yeah, it sucks.
I think that there was always such a belief that children were resilient, and children are resilient. Like kids are resilient. They can survive things.
Yeah.
But I think that there was such a belief that kids are resilient, and it would almost like build character, like experiences built, like everyone would talk about builds character.
Or like it would just bounce off them.
Yeah. And that it just wouldn't affect them in a major way. And not even just kids, but experiences with adults too. I mean, it's kind of like the way they used to treat women with sexual assault. Like, well, you survived. It's over. Forget it. Best to just forget about it. Kind of thing. It's just nice to see so much acknowledgement happening. I had no idea that this case was like a catalyst for the support that kids are offered now. And also all the updates on the survivors, on the criminals who should not be out of jail. I will punch you in the face if I see you. You're going to meet Mr. Right Hand and Mr. Left.
Her fists are raised for the listeners.
Nettie,
Mr. Justice and Mr.
Law.
You can cut this part out.
I'm keeping it.
Nettie, I just would urge you to not make promises you won't keep.
Well, first of all, how would I even remember their names? So I probably, even if I heard them, would be like, that sounds familiar, but I don't know where I know you from.
Then he'd be like, good, because I listened to your podcast, you crazy lady.
And then I'd be like, wait, now I remember why I oughta. They'd be like, oh no, he walked away. And he'd be like, I'm standing right here.
Nettie, put your fisticuffs back up.
Oh, jeez. What a story.
I know. I did not like the kidnapping part of that whole thing, which I kind of thought I might need to warn my sisters that I have a false ending in this because I like to do that to you guys. But
wait, is it so?
Like
Part two starting now? Oh.
After the kidnapping, like that being the end of the story, but it's like there's so much more to it, and like only a handful of the survivors were in this documentary, and it just was so eye-opening. I mean, but we all know about trauma. We've all had our own trauma. Everybody does. And like it was just so eye-opening of like, especially when you're a kid, that before and that after.
Yeah.
You know? It just seemed to affect all of them on such a deep level. And it's so sad that three selfish men
with every opportunity. That's the thing that's especially infuriating. When you started with the story, I thought it was going to be like either some political group trying to make a statement or some group like on hard times and desperate. But no, it was literally just very selfish people with every advantage in life. Spoiled,
rotten.
selfish, didn't give any thought to other people's lives, like the value of other people's lives.
Could have gone on to literally do almost anything, and they decide to terrorize 26 children and a grown man.
If you have access to a free bulldozer, like, put it to good use. Don't dig a prison, right? Like, I mean, there's just so much opportunity that they had that they could have done something productive and useful with all the resources they had. It's just so shocking.
And like, just because Fred Woods was like, my dad's putting pressure on me. Oh, there's a surplus of 20-some million dollars in the California budget. Got to get my hands on it.
Fred Woods.
Ugh.
Just marking his name in my brain in case I ever come face to face with him, so we can meet Mr. Justice
and her
and Mr. Law.
In her list, in her journal of people who deserve Nettie's fisticuffs.
Yes.
Should probably jot it down.
Yeah.
On a fast food wrapper. From somewhere better than Jack in the Box.
Taco Bell. Just weak people. And I don't know. I think that this happens a lot when people are just handed everything in their entire life. Like, obviously, what's his name's dad worked. And, like, you know.
Mr. Woods.
Mr. Woods, yeah. And then his son couldn't be bothered because he had never had to. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
No, he didn't. His son, yeah.
Who knows? I mean, maybe, like Haley said, his dad did give a lot of attention. Who knows, like, if this kid just was kind of always going to be rotten. I mean, that's always like one of those tricky conversations. Like, some people want to do bad stuff and don't have empathy. And it's,
you know what probably would have given this guy some character,
Huh.
Frank, is if he had been kidnapped as a child and buried alive and held for ransom. And he wasn't. And that's why.
That's why he's the worst.
I'm just kidding. Joke.
Jokes all around.
Yes. Trying to decide if that one landed. Can't tell.
I'll listen back, and if it detracts, I'll remove it.
And if you think it's funny or you're tired,
I'll leave it in.
be like that one sister thinks kidnap and assault are a joking matter.
Yes, which one? It was Emily. It was her. It wasn't me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Well, thanks for going on that roller coaster with me.
awesome job, Haley.
Thanks for telling that story.
Yes.
Jackie's going to be thrilled.
I'll text her. I'll be like, this one's posting tomorrow, right?
Be like,
This
Jackie, if
one
you're
is
curious
in a
what you
week.
got
In a
wrong
week,
about
Tuesday.
the information you shared with me, tune in.
Hey, Jackie, speaking of false leads,
Remember that?
Speaking of burying the lead.
Remember that article you sent me that was riddled with falsehoods and misinformation? You don't remember?
She would get a kick out of all of this.
Yes. Maybe I'll leave it in for her. Love you, Jackie.
Love you, Jackie.
Haven't met you, Jackie, but I've heard you're great.
You would love her.
It's true.
That's awesome. Wow, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
It's fun to get the true story.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'll close us out.
All right. Do we want to end on anything else more positive than kidnapping?
Well,
yes. I would just like to point out that my kids ride the bus to and from school often and do not get kidnapped. So if you are feeling
nervous,
yeah, this one was a statistical anomaly.
Correct.
Yes. Still put those kids on buses.
Especially put your kids on buses.
Yeah. Our kids had the most amazing bus driver, such a friendly guy. His name is like Bruce or something, so that all the kids call him Mr. Batman. And he's just such a nice bus driver. And I'm so sad that Oliver's graduated from his route. Next year he won't be on that route anymore, but we all just loved him. Yeah, so good.
It's so funny, like how kids will get attached to their bus drivers. We have this guy, oh my gosh, his name's escaping me. I think it's Doug, but he's the guy that used to own Hobby Habit. Mm-hmm. And he is like the major bus driver in LeGrand. Like he owns his own really nice cruiser bus that's like got all the amenities. And the kids love, like the band and the choir, he drives for all their tours, and the kids love him because he's like involved. He goes in and watches them compete, like compliments them. He's like, is there room for me at dinner? You know, kind of thing. Like joins in on everything, and it's really just, they all just love him.
Oh, that's nice.
Cute.
But no, he was super, super nice. And he remembered James after I realized that he had been the Hobby Habit owner. Remember how James used to go to game night at
all the time?
Habit? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, I think you might know my brother. I'm James Rampton's sister. And he's like, you're Marie Rampton's daughter.
Oh, Mom's going to love to hear that. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. Goodbye.
Yes. Okay, yes. Thank you for listening. Wait, I haven't closed us out. Thank you for listening. Once again, we are the Spooky Darlings. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at the Spooky Darlings Podcast. And you can find us on Apple, Spotify, any place you might listen to podcasts at the Spooky Darlings. And if you have any stories that you'd like to share about buses
Have you been kidnapped?
But a rad bus driver, we would love shout outs of the most rad bus drivers. That would be so fun to read. Anything that comes to your mind as you listen to this last episode, email us at thespookydarlings@gmail.com. And again, thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
5 stars.
5 million in 2 separate suitcases. Delivered pronto.